Just kidding. Of course, I'm joking. He's too old. He's too old to enlist. But we could change that. They just raise the age, you know. So let's see, give him a waiver. Give Lindsay a waiver. You want to go to war so bad. You want to beat the drums of war, having never actually served. I don't even think anybody in your family's ever served. You want to go to war that bad, you know, maybe we can change the policy so you can sign up. Because you're a badass. You're a badass war hawk with other people's lives. You never were a badass war hawk with your own life or the lives of your loved ones. And yet, you have the audacity to say shit like this?
Go back to South Carolina. I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America. I'm publicly involved in bringing this regime down. If you don't, you're making a great mistake and you're going to cut off the ability to have a better relationship with the United States. I say this as a friend.
Well, I hate to repeat myself. Fuck you, Lindsay. You go. You go. We'll find a way to make an exception. We'll lie about your age on the enlistment form, and then you can go. You can go have your war. He's bitching about Spain. Spain not letting us use their airspace to attack Iran. Well, anybody that lets us use their airspace to attack Iran gets attacked, and Spain doesn't want to be dragged into this war that nobody ever asked them about, nobody ever communicated with. I mean, this is how it works when you have allies. You have to communicate with your allies. And if they are your allies, well, they're not going to leak your plans. And there's some secrecy you can have with your timing, but to at least let the allies know that it's probably going to happen soon. Like maybe, hey, we want to do something to Iran. It might be a good idea for you to get your ships out of the Straits of Hormuz by like next week. Capiche? I mean, Trump talks like a gangster. Well, now I just saw Caroline Levitt talking about how the Middle East is going to pay for the war. Well, they're already paying for the war. But the check from Mexico for the wall, I guess it's still in the mail. I haven't seen it come through. I'm sure they sent it. I'm sure Mexico's going to pay for the wall because, you know, the Orange Jesus, Tangerine Palpatine said so. And, you know, promises made, promises kept. Just said that in a speech, I think, yesterday. No, actually, all the promises you made, you broke. And the war was just the latest one. Well, and the war led to the other one, with gas prices going up, the economy being fucked, prices going up rather than down. I mean, they already went up from the trade wars. Now they're going up from the real wars. So Trump's absolutely full of shit about everything he said, and don't you ever fucking tell me that promises made, promises kept shit ever again. The Middle East is not going to pay for the war. Interesting development I saw today, and I believe it was Oman, it was the United Arab Emirates, one of those Middle Eastern countries. Iran is using a new tactic. Now, the tactic's based on old tactics of overwhelming the air defense to deplete the missiles so more missiles make it through. But Iran just came up with a whole new one. They launch a bunch of what are essentially fireworks. They're just missiles with a bunch of flares on them, and the flares fire off, and then the interceptor missiles chase the flares. They chase the flares. And so they basically are firing a barrage of skyrockets, fireworks, and deplete the defense missiles, and then After the fireworks come the real missiles. And at the very least, if you overwhelm them enough, it takes time to reload. You know, each of these missile banks has a certain amount of shots till they have to manually be reloaded by somebody. And Iran knows how many shots those are. Now again, as I've said a million times. Now I just heard, I don't know if this was true, but Ben Marcellus said today that our interceptors cost $5 million. I had originally heard $1 million, but I'm going to research that to see what the actual number is. Because I still want to see how many we can produce in a day. Because Iran's Shahed drones cost about 30 grand, and they can produce at least 500 of them a day. Or that's, you know, a while back. Maybe they've upped their production, which, you know, most people do in this situation. So, Lindsay, you go fight in this bullshit war. Send your family, send your relatives. I ain't sending mine. And my dogs are barking at the neighbor's dogs, and they're not going to stop, so I gotta go. Thank you for subscribing and hitting all those cool buttons. Hit all my buttons, y'all. I'll see you next time.